right, boys and girls, and those who bounce in between, welcome to a little thing I like to call a reading. We're going to be reading a book by none other than my hero, and he should be your hero too, if you count yourself a comrade, Vladimir Ilyich Lenin. Imperialism, the highest stage of capitalism, a popular outline, written January through June 1916, 3 years prior to the Bolshevik seizing control. First published mid-1917 in pamphlet form in Petrograd, modern-day St. Petersburg, published according to the manuscript and verified with the text of the pamphlet. Source: Lenin's selected works. Progress Publishers, blah 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 blobbity blah blobbity blobbity blue. This is free domain, baby. Internet archive of Lenin himself. You may freely copy, distribute, display, and perform this work, as well as make derivative and commercial works. Please credit Marxist Internet Archive as your source. Well, thank you, Marxist Internet Archive. You are an indispensable resource, my friends. So let's just get right in. Well, first of all, let's take a look at the content. We got the preface. We got the preface to the French and German editions. Who cares? We got we got the concentration of production and monopolies, chapter I really want to read. Banks and their role, finance capital and the financial oligarchy, export of capital, division of the world among capitalist associations, sort of giving us an idea. I think what Lenin's really trying to do with this book is sort of piece together, from a Marxist perspective, the real causes of the First World War, which I think was going on while this book was being written. So of course it would be first on Lenin's mind, well, perhaps second only to the proletarian revolution itself. We've also got division of world among the great powers, and then the big enchilada, imperialism as a special stage of capitalism. Then you have parasitism and the decay of capitalism. You have a critique of imperialism. Then you have the place of imperialism in history. So I don't know if I'm going to read this whole book. I don't know if you guys want me to read this whole book. But one thing's for sure. Let's take a look at the preface. It says the pamphlet here presented to the reader was written in the spring of 1916 in Zurich. In the conditions in which I was obliged to work there, I naturally suffered somewhat from a shortage of French, English literature, from a serious dearth of Russian literature. However, I made use of the principal English work on imperialism, a book by J.A. Hobson, with all the care that, in my opinion, that work deserves. This pamphlet was written with an eye to the Tsarist censorship. Hence, I was not only forced to confine myself strictly to an exclusively theoretical, specifically economic analysis of facts, but to formulate the few necessary observations on politics with extreme caution, by hints in an allegorical language, in that accursed Aesopian language to which Tsarism compelled all revolutionaries to have recourse wherever they took up the pen to write a legal work. It's painful in these days of liberty to reread the passages of the pamphlet which have been distorted, cramped, compressed, and an iron vice on account of that of the censor, that the period of imperialism is the eve of the socialist revolution, that social chauvinism, aka socialism in words, chauvinism in deeds, is the utter betrayal of socialism, complete desertion to the side of the bourgeoisie, with this split in the working class movement is bound up with the objective conditions of imperialism, etc. On these matters, I had to speak in a Slavish tongue. I must refer to the reader who's interested in the subject to the articles I wrote abroad in 1417, a new edition which is soon to appear, in order to show to the reader in a guise acceptable to the censors how shamelessly untruthful the capitalist and social chauvinists who have deserted to their side, and whom Kautsky refers to so inconsistently, are on the question of annexations, in order to show how shamelessly they screen the annexation of their capitalists. I was forced to quote as an example Japan. The careful reader will easily substitute Russia for Japan and Finland, Poland, Kurland, the Ukraine, Khiva, Bukhara, Estonia, and other regions peopled by great non-Russians for Korea. Okay, so he's basically going to refer to Russia as Japan, and the area, the greater regions outside of Russia as Korea. Kind of strange, but you know, that's what the Tsar kind of forced on poor Lenin, who was trying to write this book. Said, I trust this pamphlet will help the reader understand the fundamental economic question, that of the economic essence of imperialism, for unless this is studied, it will be impossible to understand and appraise modern war and modern politics. Alrighty, baby boys. So, let me know what you guys think. In part 2, we'll start the first part, concentration of production and monopolies, and we'll see how that does